So, who is involved in the Tricky Tom allegations? Part 2. What is up, guys? I'm back. Big news for the unemployed. And looks like we have some new, or not new, well, relatively new, allegations to go over. I want to just preface this, since this is a part 2 from my last video, that these are allegations. We don't know if any of this is true, but, you know, it's a pretty deep bag that we got dive into. For example, and I obviously cannot review all of that in a timely manner, guys. Like, I'm just picking the most important pieces from my opinion, and I will be going over that. And we'll see at least who I think, you know, is telling the truth, lying, going to hell. But yeah, all jokes aside, I do want to go over every person's point of view that they had with Tricky Tom, and like, as there are, I believe, three different characters that we will be talking about in this video. I'm not going to go over so much as Tom's part because he has not spoken out yet. You know, maybe I'll make a video for that, but I do want to go over each of the previous partners. I still don't know what to call them. Guys, I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, I'll call them something else by the end of the video. Who knows? I don't know, man. But yeah, you guys tell me your guys' opinion at the end of the video. Tell me I'm wrong, tell me I'm right. Do what you guys want. I don't care. But yeah, let's get started. So the first character we will be talking about in this chapter-like story with Tricky Tom is Megamawile. Her name's Kate. What am I even doing? So Kate is Tom's first ex in this whole debacle, this whole situation, and she's actually recently released a Google Doc on Twitter explaining her whole relationship with Tricky Tom and how it formulated from that. And, you know, I'll be reading it. It's kind of long, guys, so, you know, bear with me, but don't worry. I brought my reading glasses. This is something I really thought I would never have to respond to. I've spent over 2 years going out of my way to avoid addressing any of the claims made about me or my relationship. I haven't privated all my social media for a very long time, because I've never wanted it to be a spectacle for people to poke at intimate details of my life for their own entertainment. Given recent events, however, I feel a sense of responsibility to say something. Okay. Tom and I had a very mutually toxic relationship, and yes, we both cheated on each other online. This behavior isn't good from either of us, but our private matters that don't in any way deserve to be blasted on the internet by me, and I would never feel the need to put out to the world by my own choice. Unfortunately, it's been made public against either of our wishes, so I thought I should just acknowledge it. Now, to give my experience with Tom in relation to the serious allegations being made by former partners, there's a lot of information being shared that I find extremely unnecessary, with a driving motivator to humiliate him. I find this behavior to be incoherent and will not address any minor anecdotes about him that doesn't carry emotional relevance. I really need to stress that this is just my experience, and he may have acted differently with the girls who he was involved with after me. I'm not undermining anyone's experiences and do not wish to speculate on their credibility. I will directly reply to him as a partner overall at the end. In regards to recording sexual encounters, the few times we did record anything, it was either with explicit permission beforehand or an established consent based on previous conversations in our long-term relationship. It really wasn't a frequent thing that happened, mostly before we started living together and were long distance. There are a lot of stuff we did where I look back and shake my head because my standards for myself really changed so much since then, but everything was always consensual between us. There were a few instances where I became uncomfortable with an encounter, and he was understanding it would not continue after I voiced my discomfort. I don't think this is an allegation being made about him, but I wanted to stress that nothing in the bedroom that was rough or aggressive ever translated to domestic interactions. There are a lot of negative things to say about Tom, but he was always surprisingly patient and never did so much as yell at me. I never once felt fearful of him when he was angry the entire time we were in a relationship, which included living together for over 6 months. There's been a message circulating claiming that Tom and I participated in age play, which is just a blatant twisting of the truth. Tom definitely romanticizes power dynamics and heavy dom-sub stuff, but that was never expressed through age-related dynamic role-playing. It's clear he has a type for Sanrio mentally ill e-girls, but I just can't say from my experience that it was ever pedophilic in that nature. The person I knew between the years of 2020 and 2023 was not into those things. Anything after that, I would not know.
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro. You tripping.
So good news for Turkey Tom, right? I mean, his previous relationship is coming out with this Google Doc that she states that she was never fearful of Tom. She was never hit or, in a non-consensual manner. There was never any case of DV throughout their 3-year relationship. But that was only half the doc of the Google Doc. I do want to preface a small part of the Google Doc where she does mention blackmail. It is true that Tom has a blackmail folder of me consisting of phone recordings and text messages I've known about for a very long time because he told me we were messy as fuck, okay? I've never had any intention of speaking out about him publicly, but I did decide to be evil after one of the times we broke up and tell him I was going to ruin his career. I do not feel at all fearful about him leaking anything private relating to me in response to this because I think I have been very respectful along with everything being the truth. So, the second part of this Google Doc does not really paint Turkey Tom in a positive light. I mean, who here thinks blackmail's bad? I mean, exactly. So, it's just that I don't think that they obviously did not have the best relationship. That's clear from the doc alone that they were not the best match for each other. They were cheating on each other online. They did live with each other for 6 months, but it does not seem like they had the most positive interactions with each other. I mean, from her allegations that Tom even told her about the blackmail folder, and she used that as a means to, I guess, get back at him if in response to an altercation that they had. And so my question is, if that blackmail folder is real, who says that he didn't use that blackmail on his other 2 partners or his other who knows how many partners he had or has? I don't want to just throw more allegations into the wind, but I feel like that is I feel like that's a good question to have. If this blackmail folder is real and is proven to be real, then how do we know that he isn't, blackmailing other girls who aren't comfortable with it? Because from what I'm reading on this Google Doc, it seems like they are very comfortable around each other. It seems like they are very open around each other. I'm just saying, that's going to happen in a 3-year relationship. Who knows how bad the blackmail got with these shorter relationships. I believe one was 7 months, and another one was even shorter than that. So I just want to know how, if this alleged blackmail file is real, how far is Turkey Tom going with this? I'm curious. I'm very curious. But yeah, from what I'm reading, it seems like Kate has not really re-entered the drama. I mean, they did date about 3 years ago, so kind of a long time especially internet time. Like 3 years ago, like you might as well be chilling with the dinosaurs at that point. So that was like a millennia ago in internet terms. But so I don't think she's gonna really reappear in the further we go into the story with Turkey Tom and his other partners. But yeah, chapter 2. So who is Clorox Katie? Well, Clorox Katie is a supposed e-girl, or I'm not too sure if she's actually an e-girl, but nevertheless, it seems like Tom has a type. Well, so they had a 2-month fling, but I believe they dated for about 7 months, where they didn't meet in person until I believe the last 2 months of their little date thing they had going on. But anyways, let's just talk about her allegations that she's bringing to the table. Well, while she does not claim revenge. You guys know what I'm talking about. She does not claim blackmail or revenge corn. She does bring in 2 allegations about Tom being abusive and leaving her bruises after their endeavors. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. So Clorox Katie, or I'll just call her Katie for right now. She did actually make a Kiwi Farms account. She is, if you guys watched my previous video, she is the account Left for Dead, and with that, that's where she does make her claims of Tom's abuse towards her, and how Turkey Tom did find it attractive or amusing that she was diagnosed with BPD. If you guys do not know what BPD is, I'll put it up on the screen right now. You know, read it if you want. If you don't, it's and so Turkey Tom thought it was attractive that Katie was diagnosed with BPD. When, if you guys do not know what BPD is borderline personality disorder, and I'm not a psychologist. I don't know what that does in a relationship. I believe, from at least what I've read, it does like complicate things, and it people who do have BPD do have attachment style issues in that matter. I don't, just take my claims with a grain of salt, because I'm not a psychologist, guys. I'm just a YouTuber, guys. But yeah, it seems that Tom did find that trait of her attractive. Yeah, so I totally skipped over a little part in the Kiwi Farms post made by Katie, and it is a part talking about him, Turkey Tom, liking that Katie looks like a little girl. What is up with that? So it's obvious that Turkey Tom does like having a power dynamic in his relationships, and with that, I want to bring in a phone recording.
You're trying to push me away that I like put on top of you, like really put all my weight on you.
True, actually true.
Sometimes you were like, ow, wow. It's so nice though. It's like, cause like you're like small, petite, and I'm like big and strong. It's like.
So what I think this phone call shows, I believe it shows the dynamic that they both had among each other, and I'm not sure what Katie's purpose was in recording the phone call initially. I'm not sure if her and Tom had any qualms before or prior to recording this phone call, but I do think that it does show Tom's freakazoid kinks that he has. You know, he wants to put all his weight on her and stuff like that. I don't want to get too much into it, but I do want to talk about another thing that Katie does go into on another post that she makes on the Kiwi Farms website. So as you can see in this post that I found, there is a word after the word night. It rhymes with the fruit, grape. And yeah, Turkey Tom was interested in doing those kind of activities to her. Maybe it was some kind of fantasy or kink that he does. Who knows? We have no idea. But until he does speak out, it's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? But following these posts, I do want to talk about the relationship dynamic and some of the posts that Katie did make on her social media. So as far as I know, I don't know how their relationship came to an end, but I do want to talk about these claims and her involvement with Turkey Tom, as well as having BPD, and how that correlates to these allegations. So a picture I want to bring up is one that she posted on her Instagram story, her close friends thing. I think I don't know. It looks like that. But anyways, I want to bring that one up. So in this post that she makes, she does explain how she is being beat by Turkey Tom, but also how she wants to stick around and confess her love to him. But my question is, are these consensual or non-consensual hits that she is taking during these encounters? Because she does mention in the Kiwi Farms post that I put up earlier that Turkey Tom is rough, extremely rough, and she's been down the kinky road, quote unquote. I don't know what that means, but I don't want to dive into it any further. I don't want to get age restricted, guys, but yeah, she does talk about how she's been down that road of endeavors, and how Turkey Tom is a level above that. So I'm just wondering how rough is he going? You know, what are we doing? Like, you know, like I said in my last video, like he's acting like this. He must be acting like this is a boxing match if that's the case. And we actually do get a little bit of detail of how rough Turkey Tom be going, how hard he be going, because from these texts with Katie and a supposed friend of hers, she is talking about how Tom is making her bleed during these things that they're doing together, and it's like that should not be happening. And I believe she talks about how it's not even from, you know, being on a period or nothing like that. It's just coming from Tom being rough. I feel like there's a line to cross of rough and then straight up abuse. What's up, guys? Editing Nate here. So there has been an update in the allegation case with the ex in this segment, at least, and I just want to, you know, give a shout out to this Twitter page that I've been, you know, getting information from. That Twitter page being Leia Sapienti. She has been posting a bunch of information about this case and about all the allegations coming from most, or I believe all, the exes of Turkey Tom. And I just want to go over this quick little segment that she posted, or they posted, on Kate's pros and cons that she had with Turkey Tom. So as you can see, the pros are very short. It looks like there's like 6 or 7 pros, and then there's a long list of cons. So let's look at the pros. So we have sweet, sometimes dates are nice, tries to make it work, funny, pays for meals, makes me feel secure in muscles. So the bare minimum is what we're looking at with Tom. And now let's look at the cons. Chopped in the face and thinks we're matched in looks. Cheated on ex. Follows his friends around like a dog. Seems depressed all the time. No surprises. Takes hours to respond. So dry and vague. Rarely compliments me. Doesn't leave his house. Online all the time. No hobbies other than the gym or video games. Talks about other women lustfully in front of me. Follows IG models, OF girls, and even when I asked him to stop. Well, that's great. Okay. Try to find where. Okay. No romance. Doesn't seem to want to support me at all in the future. Seems like he still feels some type of way towards his ex. Every time I bring up a valid concern, he says, "I'm nice to you, so stop complaining." Side D-pic to Belle Delphine copycat before. Sex is all about him. He's ran through. Looks up Sand Hyde, unironically. And this is a big one. This backs up her first claim about her bleeding. He said that he likes hurting me even when I bleed, which is crazy. Seems self-obsessed. Doesn't ever talk about us. Doesn't really seem to care about my goals at all. Everything is all about him. I do the bare minimum, therefore you're not allowed to feel upset. So these are a lot of allegations to have, but I feel like a lot of these stem to Turkey Tom not doing anything illegal, but to just amount to him being a terrible person. And, you know, that's really all this kind of stems to. It's just Turkey Tom is not the person that, you know, he turns out to be. I feel like I wouldn't say, you know, he let a lot of people down, because if you're looking up to a YouTuber, guys, let's come on. But I just feel like he was definitely putting up a facade that, you know, especially when reviewing all these lolcows and infamous character types on the internet, he is not too far from the tree, dare I say. So it's very surprising to see him be this kind of way, especially with the content he makes, you know. But that's just a little update on this part of the case. And, you know, yeah, back to the video. From the allegations so far, I feel like the least that we can say about Turkey Tom is that bro is a freak in the sheets. Like, dude is hogging. Like, he obviously does have a type from the past 2 girls that we've been seeing, but I feel like we have not fully gone in to what Turkey Tom is into. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is chapter 3. So we're finally at the last chapter, guys. You know, we've come a long way. There's been a lot of allegations to hurting people during endeavors, facades being put up, mysteries unsolved. You know, it's been a long journey. But we are finally at the last chapter. Now, I guess without going into too much detail, I feel like first we need to explain what a lolicon is. Guys, I don't want to get age restricted, so I'm going to be very brief. So, for those who don't know what a lolicon is, and those who haven't really been into like anime or anything, a lolicon it's essentially someone who portrays himself to be younger than they actually are. So, age play, if you want to label it as that, yeah, I guess it would be age play. And that will be the person we are talking about right now. This is Tom's final ex that we currently know of that has had an issue and brought up these allegations. And this ex, her name is Ellie. And Ellie actually admitted to being a lolicon. Let me put it on the screen for y'all. So, does this mean that Turkey Tom was into lolicon content, or into those who portray themselves as younger than they actually are, which is very suspicious, you know? But that we cannot say for sure. Until Tom confirms himself, or, you know, comes out with a statement, we don't know for sure. We don't know how their life was together. I mean, they obviously did meet from the pictures that I'm putting up on the screen right now. They obviously did know each other. They did meet. I don't really know how long they did date for. I feel like they did have a very similar relationship, like with the previous 2 relationships that we did talk about. So there, in my opinion at least, there isn't really much to say about this person besides them being a lolicon and Turkey Tom's involvement with that, and how much he was, you know, pursuing that kind of content. I think, but yeah, I do think there's a correlation, because this was the ex that was hacked, according to the Twitter page that I've been following for all the evidence. This is the ex that got hacked and had Turkey Tom's, you know, pictures. I won't go any deeper in that, but yeah, I believe, you know, the hacker did, you know, flip a little Uno reverse card on Turkey Tom, because he had some blackmail on Turkey Tom, exposing pictures of him that I believe he threatened to leak, possibly, or they, I don't know what gender they are, the hacker was, but you know, but that they threatened to leak. But I mean, you know, from what I'm seeing, seems like they resolved that. There isn't really much to say about this, so I'm just gonna ad-lib the next minute, and give you guys my thoughts of what I think Turkey Tom is guilty of, is not guilty of, and what I think he should do in the next coming weeks or even months, or how long he decides to take a break. So honestly, I feel like the first thing that Turkey Tom needs to do is address all these allegations that he's getting. Is he into lolicon? Was he actually beating his girlfriends non-consensually or consensually? I feel like he also needs to confront his addiction, because if he does have this, if all these allegations are true, I feel like he needs to confront this addiction that he has to OF models, e-girls, Belle Delphine type content. I feel like he needs to confront that first and foremost, because that is an issue that you cannot be having, especially when you're a growing top YouTuber. And I just feel like when you're into this kind of content, it really just gives like your enemies or anyone who doesn't really like you just more ammo to fuel the fire, because we are like I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. It is a long list. It's a very long list, and multiple YouTubers are still making videos. Are still talking about this issue because that is just how long this list of allegations are and about Turkey Tom and his life behind the screen. But yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna wrap up the video. I think it's gonna be about like 20-25 minutes long. I don't know, but I still got some editing to do. And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. Peace.